So when I first started training jiu-jitsu, my neck would feel absolutely wrecked after class. Sometimes it was a sharp pain near my upper trap, other times turning my head the next morning hurt. But once I started consistently training these 4 exercises, those flare-ups became dramatically less common, and each one of these prepares your neck for a different kind of stress you're going to be facing while rolling. Because when you really think about it, jiu-jitsu asks a lot from your neck. You're going to be stacked forward, cross-face sideways, pulled through scrambles, and sometimes even twisted into positions that are hard to predict. And no one single exercise is going to make your neck completely injury-proof. You can still get caught in a bad position, stack too quickly, or have a choke turn into more of a neck crank. But what we can do is build more strength, control, and endurance around the cervical spine so that your neck has a better chance of handling the normal stress of rolling without feeling wrecked after every class. In this video, I'll show you why your neck gets so sore after rolling, the 4 exercises I use to build strength and endurance in the muscles that protect it, and how to perform them without letting your traps or other big muscles take over. So to understand why these exercises work, think of the muscles around your neck like a work crew. The smaller, deeper muscles are basically the workers assigned to keep everything steady. They make tiny adjustments to control the position of your head while you're moving, framing, scrambling, or dealing with pressure. Then we have some of the bigger muscles around the neck and shoulders, like the upper traps and scalenes. These are more like the backup crew. They can absolutely help when the demand increases, but ideally they shouldn't be doing the entire job from the beginning of class. Because when those deep stabilizers don't have enough endurance, they start to fatigue. And once that happens, the bigger muscles have to step in and work a little bit harder to keep the head controlled. That's when we can start to feel that tight, overworked sensation around the upper traps or along the outside of the neck, even if there wasn't one obvious moment where we injured anything. Basically, the backup crew has been working overtime for an entire class. So the goal here isn't just to make the neck stronger in a general sense. We want to build enough control and endurance that the right muscles can keep doing their job as the round goes on. And the first exercise establishes the position we need to maintain during almost everything else. The first exercise is a quadruped banded chin tuck. You're going to start on your hands and knees, place a light resistance band behind the base of your head, and pin the ends of the band underneath your hands. From here, the goal is to not look up or force your head backwards. Instead, think about sliding your head straight back while keeping your forehead and chin level. You'll probably feel like you're creating a little bit of a double chin here, which is exactly what we want. That position helps engage the deeper muscles in the front of the neck instead of immediately handing the job over to the bigger muscles around your shoulders. Once you find that position, hold it while the band gently pulls your head forward. You should feel steady tension building through the front of the neck, but your shoulders should stay relaxed and away from your ears. If your upper traps start to tighten right away, your chin starts jutting forward, or you feel like you have to clench your jaw to hold the position, the band is probably too heavy. So lighten the resistance, reset the chin tuck, and focus on keeping the position clean. Start with a few holds of about 15 to 30 seconds, and before you make the band heavier, make sure you can maintain that position without shrugging, holding your breath, or letting your head drift forward. This is basically the foundation for everything else, because once we add movement, it gets much harder to keep those deeper stabilizers doing their job. The next exercise keeps that same chin tuck position, but now we're gonna add rotation. Because in jiu-jitsu, your neck rarely has to stay perfectly still. You're turning to follow your opponent, looking for space during a scramble, or trying to rotate your head while someone is controlling it with a crossface. So from the same hands and knees position, keep light tension through the band and gently slide your head back into the chin tuck. Then slowly rotate your head from one side to the other. The important part is that the chin tuck stays in place while you turn. A common mistake is letting the chin jut forward as soon as the head starts moving. Another is rotating the entire chest instead of isolating the movement at the neck. So keep your body quiet, move slowly, and only turn as far as you can without losing that stacked position. You can think about your chin tracing a shallow smile from side to side instead of reaching forward. You should feel the muscles around the side of your neck and the base of your skull working, but you shouldn't be forcing the range or creating any sharp pain. Start with about 8 to 10 slow rotations in each direction. This exercise is important because being able to hold a strong position is one thing, but being able to maintain that position while your head is moving is much closer to what your neck is actually going to be doing while you're rolling. But rotation is only part of the problem, because a lot of the pressure you're going to be facing in jiu-jitsu is also trying to collapse your head sideways. The third exercise is side-lying lateral flexion. And this one is going to train the neck to resist that sideways pressure. Lie on your side with your head just off the edge of a bed or bench, and keep your shoulders stacked so you're not rolling forward or backwards. From here, slowly lift your head towards the ceiling. Think about bringing your ear away from the floor while keeping your nose pointed straight ahead. The big mistake we see with this one is turning this into rotation. People will start looking up towards the ceiling or down towards the floor because it makes the movement feel easier. But we want the neck doing the work, so keep the rest of your body still and move straight up and down. You should feel the muscles along the side of your neck working, especially on the side facing the ceiling. And just like the other exercises, this should feel like controlled muscular effort, not a sharp or pinching pain. Start with about 10 to 15 second holds or a few slow repetitions and perform 2 to 3 sets on each side. You may notice that one side fatigues much faster than the other, which is pretty common. That difference matters because cross faces, scrambles, and head control are rarely perfectly symmetrical. One side of your neck may be doing a lot more work depending on the position. So basically, this exercise helps build that endurance to stop your head from collapsing sideways when someone is applying that pressure. But the neck doesn't stabilize on its own. It also has to work together with the shoulder blades and the upper back, which is where the final exercise comes in. The fourth exercise is a prone W extension with a chin tuck hold. This one brings the neck, shoulder blades, and upper back together because in Jiu-Jitsu, let's face it, those areas are almost never worked in isolation. Lie face down and bring your arms into a W position with your elbows bent and slightly away from your body. From there, gently tuck your chin and think about making the back of your neck long. Then, lift your arms and upper chest slightly while keeping your eyes pointed down. The important part is that your head does not lead the movement. A lot of people will look forward and crank the neck backwards as they lift, but that just turns this exercise into more compression at the back of the neck. Instead, imagine the crown of your head reaching away from your shoulders while your upper back does the lifting. You should feel the muscles between your shoulder blades, through the upper back, and along the back of the neck working together. Your upper traps will still contribute a bit here, but they shouldn't take over by pulling your shoulders towards your ears. So if you notice yourself shrugging, arching through your low back, or lifting as high as possible, reduce the range and focus on keeping the chin tuck. Start with about 8 to 10 controlled repetitions for 2 or 3 sets. This exercise matters because when the shoulder blades and upper back aren't contributing enough, the neck is often forced to create stability by itself. And during framing, wrestling exchanges, or resisting pressure through the head and shoulders, we want that whole system working together instead of asking the neck to do everything alone. So now that we've covered all 4 exercises, the question is how often should you actually train them? For most people, 2 or 3 times a week is plenty. You can add them at the end of a normal strength workout or do them on a separate day when your neck isn't already irritated from a hard rolling session. And just like any other muscle group, the neck needs some time to recover. More here is not automatically better. A simple way to organize the routine is to start with the quadruped chin tuck holds, then add the chin tuck rotations, move into the side-lying lateral flexions, and then finish with that prone W extension exercise. That order takes you from basic control to controlled movement to side bending strength, and then finally into coordination with the upper back and shoulder blades. When it comes to progression, improve the position first, then build out the hold times or number of repetitions. And only after that should you start adding more resistance. Because if the band gets heavier, but your chin starts pushing forward, your shoulders start shrugging, or your jaw starts clenching, you're not really making the exercise better. You're just asking the backup muscles to take over again. So make sure to watch for those signs. If your shoulders creep towards your ears, your torso starts moving, or you start to feel everything in your upper traps, reduce the resistance, shorten the hold, and reset the position. The goal is to keep the right muscles working long enough that they're still doing their job later in the round. These exercises are meant to improve your neck's capacity, but they don't make your cervical spine indestructible. There are still situations in Jiu-Jitsu that are difficult to prepare for, like getting stacked quickly, being caught during an awkward sweep, or having a choke turn into more of a neck crank. So technique still matters. Training with controlled partners matters. And tapping early definitely still matters. You also want to know the difference between muscular fatigue and something that probably shouldn't be pushed through. A gradual burning sensation in the muscles is one thing, but sharp pain, numbness, tingling, or symptoms traveling into the arm are different. If an exercise creates that type of response, stop and get it assessed rather than assuming you just need to strengthen through it. Consistently working on these movements has dramatically reduced how often I get that sharp upper trap pain or wake up with the pain when turning my head up. It still happens occasionally because rolling is unpredictable and there's no exercise that can account for every bad position. But the stronger and more enduring those cervical stabilizers become, the better chance they have of controlling your neck before the backup muscles are forced to take over. And because it can be difficult to remember the setup, cues, and starting recommendations for all 4 exercises, we put everything into a free neck strengthening guide that you can keep on your phone or bring with you to the gym. It walks you through each exercise so you know exactly what to do and what mistakes you should be avoiding. You can download it for free through the link below.